The article that we're reading for this module by Edmund Pellegrino, who, by the way, is both a philosopher and a physician at the same time, it presents to us, at least at the end of the article, what I think is a very useful schema or matrix for moral decision making or moral analysis. It's the kind of outline or the kind of process that we can go through in terms of analysis where if, for example, we're looking ahead to the possibility of doing something or not doing something and we want to spend some time considering it, or if we're looking back in the past and analyzing whether or not we did something well or not well, in any event, we have a way of talking about things in a common manner if we use the schema. And Pellegrino, as you will read in the article or that you have read in the article, basically says that there are four important aspects to any morally relevant event: the agent, the act, the circumstances, and the consequences. And let's just consider each of those in succession. First, the agent. The agent is the human person, the human being who does something or does not do something. And when we human beings do something or don't do something, we bring with us into that moment of action or non-action our history, our values, our background, our predispositions, our prejudices, our strengths, our weaknesses, all the kind of complexity of who we are as a human being. And we should always realize that the people that are involved in moral decision making, or the people that are presented in the cases that we'll be looking at during the course of this semester, they're real people, and they're complex and richly textured lives. And we need to take stock of that when we start talking about who the agent is or who the agents are in any ethically challenging event. The second aspect of a morally relevant situation, Pellegrino says, is the act. That is, the thing that's done or not done. The objective thing that's being contemplated or that's being avoided. It's important to realize that human beings, as different and as varied as we are, do similar things. We perform similar actions, even though we're different kinds of people, and that there's a way of talking about what we do and what we don't do in a common and in a kind of bonded way with other people. The third aspect of the morally uh, relevant event or morally important event are the circumstances. That is, all the things that surround the agent as the agent contemplates or does something or does not do something. Circumstances can include the environment in which something takes place, can include the time of day, can include the kind of emotional situation that's at stake. All the things that don't necessarily directly impinge on the agent or not necessarily directly part of the agent, but that surround the agent and surround the activity can be important when considering the moral relevance or the ethical soundness of an action. And finally, the consequences. That is, what actually happens as a result of the agent doing something or not doing something. It's important to consider consequences both as real things that happen, real things that are the effects of having done something or not done something, or consequences as intended or projected, consequences as things that may possibly come about if I do something or don't do something. So if we wanted to analyze a moral event, we could do it pretty well, or at least get some common language going with other people that we're talking about it with by having four columns. A column which would describe the agent, a column which would describe the act, a column which would describe the circumstances, and a column which would describe the consequences, intended or unintended. Having that in mind will be useful for us as we continue to progress through this term, and it will be particularly useful and necessary for you as you engage with your synthesis paper, which will be due at the end of the next module.